Okay, 7.3 day one, we're gonna simplify rational expressions. Rational expressions are fractions or whole numbers. So we're gonna do it by factoring. Before we do it, I'm gonna show you a way we could simplify a fraction besides dividing. So this is 10/15, so you don't need to copy this. But it is true that 10 is 2 times 5. And then 15 is 3 times 5. So one way to simplify this would be to rewrite it in factored form and then cancel out the common factors. And then I would get my simplified answer as 2/3. So that's what we're going to do algebraically when we're simplifying algebraic rational expressions. I want to factor it and then cancel any common factors top to bottom. If we cancel a variable, we are going to have a domain restriction, which we will add in. So let's look at A. A is not factored. So I'm gonna have to factor it. I see 5x and 10, and I know they both divide by 5. So I'm gonna put the common factor on the outside. This is 5 times x. 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, and the denominator, x minus 2. They don't have an x in common, they don't have a 1, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. Okay, then I wanna look for any common factors to cancel. Since the x minus 2 is all alone at the bottom, these are kind of like parentheses. So if there's an identical factor from top to bottom, I can cancel it. So in this case, I can cancel this with this. Okay, so my answer is going to be 5, and that's a good answer. Okay, now it asked me to state the domain. Now, when I was at this step right here, there's an x value that would have made this whole thing kind of implode. And that's if the denominator equals 0, we are not allowed to divide by 0. So I have to think what x value would make the bottom 0. 2 would make it 0. So for my domain, I'm going to say, even though I canceled it out, x is not allowed to be 2. Okay, and then that's going to be my domain restriction. If you have trouble figuring out the answer to the bottom, I take the bottom and I set it equal to 0. And I say the bottom cannot equal 0, which means x is not able to equal to 2. Okay, let's try the next one now that you've kind of seen the process. Okay, for B. What does this look like? It's a fraction. Can I factor? I'm going to do the bottom first because it looks a little easier. Because I see a 4x and a 20, and I think I can take out a 4. So 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 5 is 20, which I like. Okay, for the top, I can't take out an x. I can't take out a number, but it has an x squared, which means this can probably factor into 2 binomials. Since it's x squared, I'm going to do x times x. To get -10, that's got to be a 5 and a 2, huh? 5 and 2. To add up to 3, +5 minus 2. Okay, now if there's a common factor top and bottom, I'm going to cancel it. So in this case, the x plus 5 cancels with the x plus 5. Okay, I'm going to write my answer, and then I'm going to write my domain restriction. So I'm left with, at the top I have x minus 2. You can keep it in parentheses or not, because if it's all by itself, we assume it is. At the bottom, we have a 4. Okay, now I'm going to write any excluded values from my domain. So I have to see what I canceled. I canceled x plus 5 from the bottom. So I need to think about what value is going to make the bottom 0. If you can do it in your head, I'm fine with that. But I'm thinking in my head, okay, the bottom could not be 0. If I minus 5, that means x cannot equal -5. And that's my domain restriction. This is true. This equals to this, except when x equals -5, because then we have a problem. Let's keep trying. Okay, on the top, I have x squared minus 2x. Do they have a common factor? Well, they do. They both have an x. So let's take an x on the outside. To get x squared, that's x times x. To get 2x, 2. Okay, on the bottom, x squared minus 6x plus 8. I can't take an x out of this. I can't take a number out of this, but it is squared. So I'm going to try to factor it into 2 binomials. X times x. To get 8, what do I times to get? 4 and 2. And then to add up to minus 6, it's got to be minus. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this out. I'm going to write my simplified answer. I have an x left at the top. I have x minus 4 at the bottom, and you're welcome to put the x minus 4 in parentheses. You just don't have to. So this is my simplified answer. If they ask for a domain restriction, I see what I canceled off the bottom. I canceled x minus 2 off the bottom. I can't have a 0 at the bottom. So it's x minus 2 can't be 0, which means that if I add 2, x can't be 2. So x can't be 2 is my domain restriction. let's keep going. Okay, D. X squared minus 36. There's no common factor, but it's squared, so it must be going like this. X times X. What do we times to get 36? Oh yeah, 6 and 6. Plus 6, minus 6, difference of squares. How about the bottom? 4x, 24. They both divide by 4. Let's take out a 4. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 6 is 24. And then I'm going to see if there's a common factor. The x plus 6 cancels with the x plus 6. So I'm left with x minus 6 at the top, and then I have a 4 at the bottom. Since they asked me for the domain restriction, I'm going to go ahead and see what I canceled. From the bottom, I canceled out the x plus 6. The x value that will make that 0 is negative 6. So it must be true that x cannot equal negative 6. Okay, and if you want to include the previous step, you can. You just don't have to. Okay, let's keep trying. They're getting trickier. Okay, for E, negative 7x and 35. They both divide by 7. Okay, I do want to take out a 7, but since the first term is negative, I actually want to take out a negative 7. If that first term is a negative, take out a negative. So negative 7 times x is negative 7x. To get positive 35, negative 7 times negative 5. Let's try the bottom. X squared minus 10x plus 25. No common factor, so let's factor it like this. X. Okay, to get 25, what are we thinking? 5 and 5? 5 plus 5 is 10. But it's a minus, so minus. Okay, and if you had forgotten to take out the negative 7, and had just taken out a 7, it wouldn't have canceled. So I can cancel 1 for 1. So my simplified answer is negative 7 over x minus 5. Since they asked for my domain, I'm going to say what x cannot equal to. X cannot equal to, this is what I canceled out. If I make this equal 0, I would add the 5. So x can't equal positive 5, because if I plug it in, I get a 0 at the bottom. Okay, let's do a few more together, and then you'll do the practice ones on your own. Okay, x squared minus 4. Is that x plus 2x minus 2? Difference of squares. Okay, on the bottom, 2x squared and 4x. Well, they for sure have a common factor because they both have x's. Actually, they both divide by 2, so I'm going to take out the 2x, the 2 and the x. To get 2x squared, 2x times x. To get 4x, 2x times 2. And if you don't take out the greatest common factor, sometimes it won't cancel, and then you'll go back and double check. Okay, cancels. What am I left with? I have x minus 2 at the top, and I have 2x at the bottom. And then because it asked for my domain restriction, what did I cancel? I canceled the x plus 2, which means x cannot equal to negative 2. Okay, 2 more. Okay, what do we got? 6x squared and 15x. They both have x's, so for sure I can take out an x. Can I take out anything besides an x? 6 and 15 both divide by 3. I'm going to take out 3x. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 5 is 15. Okay, bottom, 4x squared minus 25. There is no common factor. They both don't have x's. They don't both divide by 25. But it's squared, so I can probably factor it. Okay, what do we have? We have, what was this, 4x squared, so probably 2x and 2x. To get 5, negative 25, positive 5, negative 5. It's also a difference of squares. Okay, what cancels? Boom. And sometimes, if you do one part of the fraction, it'll give you a hint on the other part. So 3x is left, 2x minus 5 is left. Okay, now I'm going to do my domain restriction. This one's going to be a little trickier. Okay, so what did I cancel? I canceled 2x plus 5. So I know that the 2x plus 5 cannot equal 0. And I'm okay with you doing it in your head, but I'm going to solve it. I'm going to minus the 5, and then I'm going to divide by 2. So it's actually that x cannot equal negative 5 over 2. And you can do that in your head if you like. Just be careful. Okay, last one's always the challenge, right? Okay, 2x squared, 7x plus 3. Is there a common factor? 2? No. Okay, no common factor. So I need to factor this out. What do we not like about this? We don't like the 2x squared. You can guess and check, or you can do grouping. I'm going to do guess and check. This is 2x times x to get 2x squared. Now, I know that the last two numbers have to multiply to get 3, so it's either 3 times 1 or 1 times 3. Which one do we think is right? Okay, I'll try 3 times 1. Okay, it might be wrong though, so let me check. I'm going to distribute it to check it. 2x squared. 2x times 1 plus 2x plus 3x plus 3. Is that right? No, because 2x and 3x is 5x, and I need it to be 7. Okay, let me swap them. This must be 1 and 3. 1 times 3. Okay, let me check it again. 2x squared. 2x times 3 is now 6x. 1x. 6x and 1x is 7x. Okay, that's good. I'm happy with the top. Now what about the bottom? Oh, you know what? They both, I could take out a 2. Let me take out a 2. Can I take out an x? No, because the 18 doesn't have an x. Okay, so 2 times x squared, 2 times 9. Does anything cancel? No, it does not cancel yet. So I'm going to keep going. I'm happy with the top because there's no exponents left. Okay, and then on the bottom, I'm okay with the 2. But this x squared minus 9 still has a squared on it, which means it can probably go farther. I think it's x plus 3 times x minus 3. Okay, now let's see what cancels. The x plus 3's. Okay, everything that's left is left. So I still have 2x plus 1 at the top. At the bottom, I have a 2, and I have that parenthesis x minus 3. It's okay to have multiple stuff at the top and the bottom, and it's fine. Okay, because it asked me for domain restriction, I'm going to see what I crossed out off the bottom. I crossed out x plus 3, which means that x cannot equal to negative 3. Okay, you're going to try the practice on the next page. Pause the video, unpause when you're ready to check your answers, or you get stuck. Okay, go ahead and check your first 3. Okay, here's 4, 5, and 6. Okay, go ahead and check your answers for the last 4.